Healing crystals, skincare routines, knitting a sweater, fitting in jeans. With Katie and Sarah, no need to worry, you're on a lady journey.
Lady Journey. It's only a matter of time before we're blowing up
at the
through
top.
the roof. So you guys want to get on board and you want to subscribe to Lady Journey, okay?
Get it.
Please subscribe. Welcome, everybody.
Welcome.
Welcome, as John Oliver says.
Does he really?
He goes, welcome to...
John
Oh, no, it's Jimmy Fallon.
Jimmy Fallon.
I said
It's all the same.
They were blurred together.
All
Jimmy
the Jimmy
Fallon,
John,
Jimmy Kimmel,
Jimmy Johnny.
Yeah, they're all one man.
Isn't it weird that late night's always been the white male? Although I was a huge Arsenio Hall fan growing up.
Ooh.
Loved Arsenio Hall.
Very fun.
But it's always been Jimmy Johnny's.
Oh, and who was the
No woman.
Who was that one guy
Maybe
with the
Joan
face?
for
He had a
one-
weird face.
Oh, Jay Leno.
Jay Leno.
Your
Jimmy
name-
Johnny's and Jay's.
Jimmy Johnny Jays.
Yeah.
You have to start with a J. It's really weird that women have never been accepted in the late night realm. It's like
It's bizarre.
men do not want to. I'm just going to generalize here. Don't want to hear a lady's voice before they go to sleep.
Well, we're very shrill. So it could be that.
Although Joe and I listened to a meditation tape and it was an English lady's voice. And I'm like, why is it always English speaking people, English accents that get the meditation? You're never going to get a lady like this in America.
Y'all close your eyes. You're getting real drowsy and you're grateful, y'all. That would be triggering to me. I'm like, I need to vote.
I know. Yeah, you don't hear American accents. Maybe Sam Harris.
Now, I had a hypnosis that I was doing during the pandemic when I was really having like bad anxiety, bad insomnia from anxiety. And it was I cannot remember what it was called. I found it on YouTube just randomly. And it was a very strange dialect of British accent. And they would take you through these mental visualizations, but they were very bizarre. It was like, there's a large ball flowing down a funnel, flowing down, around and around. Or it was like you're on an escalator, the escalator.
Yeah.
And it was but it was the only thing that would soothe me to sleep. And then after that time, every time I would hear a British person, I'd just be like, like immediately soothed.
You're getting tired.
Yeah. I love that. Was that your Boston accent? Right.
I always try but Joe's like, it's awful. And so I don't know what I'm doing.
We saw the guy from Ray Donovan in Veselka.
Liev Schreiber?
Yes.
Schreiber?
Yes.
He comes from an extremely wealthy family.
Oh, well, that would explain why he was... Well, actually, Veselka's like pretty reasonable.
I'm
going there.
Well, he's also a New Yorker.
Is he a New Yorker?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, Mike was speculating that he was in town because there was a boxing match.
Oh, yes.
But Mike has said he's seen him before at the Cellar, which,
we are regulars,
as the fans would know, that we actually are there.
Yes.
Actually, so we could have seen him as well. I feel like I never notice famous people at the Cellar because I'm obsessed with myself. I'm like, my last tag didn't hit.
I know. Oh, Drew Barrymore is here. I've never been in the Cellar when like extreme celebrities have come by. I've been there when it's just like comedic celebrities and you get used to that.
Or it's like the guy who played in the U2 before they were famous and you're like, who cares?
But like it'll be Madonna and you're like, what? I'm never there.
Yeah, I miss out on
Although
Madonna.
I've been following her on social media and I don't know if we would be connecting.
Madonna.
Hi.
If I miss it, I'm gay. I would date Madonna. Are you kidding?
I would
climb to the top. Madonna, this is a proposition if you want to date a younger woman who, I mean, when you get to your mid-30s, it's kind of tricky for you to be considered a younger woman. But
yes.
It would be in this case.
It would be appropriate.
Yes.
Yeah.
Cher has a boyfriend who's 34, I saw. That's the new thing. She's
75?
70, yes, mid-70s, I think.
Oh, well, she looks great.
She looks great.
I mean,
and I like that she keeps her social media presence quiet.
Yes.
I like that she hasn't learned the TikTok.
Does she really? Oh, she was big on Twitter. She's kind of like, I put her up there with your Mae West and Dolly Parton. of like really great quotes. Like very, they're
yeah.
actually like humorous.
Yes.
They're very funny.
I didn't know that she was tweeting.
She was back in the day. She likes emojis. I haven't seen stuff get retweeted, but everybody's up in arm about Twitter. And I actually am writing it until it's dead. But people are like, I'm out of here. I
Ugh.
don't want to be here when it becomes a cesspool. And you're like, it's always been a cesspool and I love it.
Yeah, from the day that it opened and it was like Miley Cyrus tweeting that she had a sandwich. It's never been great. I hope it goes down in flames. I'm so done with that platform.
I know. But
I can't be tweeting my little jokes here anymore.
But that's how I keep track of my thoughts is like, I just tweet them out.
Tweet it out. That's how I keep track of my racist thoughts. I just tweet it out to the world and say, oh, yeah, I remember when. No,
oh, yes.
when I was canceled.
2012 was the last wild frontier.
Yes. And that was a joke, by the way. I don't have racist thoughts.
But you know what? That'd be a fun lady journey. Try to find them. Try to find them on my Twitter.
We're at the point in the day where I'm like, what have I said? What on earth have I said? I was trying to make a joke about people tweeting racist things, and now I've come off as racist. I am Roseanne. Well, let's get into our journey today. I'm really actually...
You'll be doing this later.
And I will be reviewing this and editing. Oh, yeah, and I will be doing this journey later for sure. I am really actually very excited to talk about this because, I mean, it's totally universal. It's emotional eating.
I think we all do it.
I think we all do it. It's like a natural source of comfort, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Yes, and it was my number one thing after I quit drinking. I realized I'd always go home and I would stop by at the bodega and get like a sleeve of Oreos.
Ugh, I used to really eat like a whole box of cookies on the train home, and it would just soothe me, you know, after like when you're working too much or something. It's just like the immediate thing. It's like, oh, who has the time and money to go like get a massage, make an appointment at the spa, spend $300?
But you can always get candy.
You can always have little M&Ms, and then you're on a vacation for a brief moment.
There was a few years ago, I kept getting Reese's Pieces after
Ooh,
shows, and I was like, this is not good for me. But I loved that little bender I went on.
It's like E.T. Something brings me back to that movie.
I was going home.
I got in a phase where I every night would eat a roll of Mentos. I call it gum you can swallow. Yeah. I would eat a roll of Mentos every single night on my way home, and I think it was giving me stomach pain. Now, I mean,
yes.
Emotional eating is like a tough topic to bring up because I don't want to bring it up as like someone saying like it's wrong or like, you know, to be body shaming in any way.
Yes. It's just more in the mindset of like, I think we all do it in mindfulness.
Having an awareness.
It's also, I don't think it's super bad to it. If you're going to do one vice, I do think emotional eating is okay to do every now and then.
It's so much better than fentanyl.
Is that crazy?
Yeah. Have a little macaroni.
Yes. There's comfort food is so nice.
It's so
it's
nice,
like a bath for your soul.
It can be really healing.
Yes.
Well, the emotional eating, I think, when it becomes like an issue for me is when actually something is wrong. I'm feeling really upset about something and I'm eating. And then what ends up happening is I feel sick from what I've eaten and I don't feel better. And now I just feel bad because I have eaten like the sleeve of Oreos or whatever. And it's just like not helping me feel better from whatever my inner pain is that I'm not addressing. And in fact, I'm feeling worse.
Yes.
That's when gets out of control.
Well, it's like, yes, I've had it with eating a whole gallon of ice cream once.
Oh my gosh.
Which is wild because you're like, well, I can't let this side's uneven.
Oh, yes. You become a mathematician about it. You're like, suddenly I have OCD.
Yes. I get that way with boxes of cereal where I can eat a whole box of sugary cereal in one sitting because I'm like, my milk to cereal ratio is off. These are all Seinfeld bits, and now we're finding out that he was
right.
He was a sad person.
Well, speaking of Seinfeld, I mean, when you watch that show, you're like, how many boxes of cereal does he have? Like, what is this set dressing?
I know.
He's got 12 open boxes of cereal in his apartment, which then you're like, oh, okay, I guess he is just a single man living alone.
Yeah, so
And
that's
he's
his
had
meal,
those there
lunches
for years.
Yes.
No.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, so I have been emotionally eating a lot lately because I've just been stressed. I've been stressed with work or whatever, but I'm really trying to come out on the other side of it to just develop like a mindfulness for myself, but not go the opposite way and go like totalitarian where I'm like so deprived that I'm just eating like celery, you know? Because I think like
that's insane.
That's insane, and that's like where my mindset goes. Where I'm like, I need to, you know, keep myself in this like little tight narrow box. It's like very type A behavior that then it like verges into like an eating disorder.
Oh my God, have you you've seen those videos or TikToks where ladies are telling you what they eat?
Oh yeah.
Like, this is my candy.
What
and
I
it's
eat in a
ice
day.
with paprika on it. And you're like, you're a crazy person, and this is dangerous content that you have put out here for us.
It's like very pro Anna.
Yeah.
I have seen one where it's like, what I eat in a day. And it's like, 5 oranges was my lunch. And you're like, that's not okay.
No.
5 oranges.
Apparently there's a Kelly Ripa what I eat in a day that had to be taken off because
That's
it was
right.
insane.
I feel like we talked about that
Yes.
before, and I remember her dessert was like 1 chocolate covered almond.
To put that out there without realizing, like, I remember doing keto, and I was trying to do it on the road, and I went to Subway thinking maybe I could get an option there without the bread. And I remember having the guy spoon in tuna fish into a little plastic cup. And I remember being like, you know what? Never mind, because I actually felt bad that I made him partake in whatever I was doing.
You're enabling me.
I hope you feel better.
Sorry.
I'm in throes of anorexia. No, where it's one of those things where you're like, yeah, this is embarrassing. This is embarrassing.
It's, yeah, you don't want to, and also like if you aren't feeling good, you're seeking comfort from the food in your life, like being really rigid and never allowing yourself to have pleasure from food is not going to make you feel better.
Yeah, just break the diet and eat that fucking sandwich from Subway.
We're not anti-diet here. But we're pro like having an eating plan, but we don't want to encourage anyone to have rigid eating behaviors. I feel like we're gonna have to starting the episodes to be like, these women are not doctors. These women are not doctors in any way. They are stand-up comedians and they have no expertise in anything they're talking about.
No expertise. We're just wanting you guys to not feel alone. Don't
feel alone. And
we don't want to shame anyone.
Well, sometimes I get into a pattern where like if I have time off, the only way I can really like celebrate it to myself is like laying out a spread in front of the TV and like, you know,
a spread.
But I'm trying to be more mindful of what I am covering up in my own emotions with the food, which is why I have a little list here of some stuff I found on the internet, which I always do. And I love also, it's like, and no credit will be given because that's the nature of content. Plagiarism. I'm sorry. What is it? 2001. Just know that I found this on the internet from doctors. This is speculation
with first names.
With
just
first
kidding.
names. Yeah. But just know that this is what different psychologists have speculated that this is what different food cravings signify is going on with you. And I will say
Is this an actual science?
This is.
Okay,
yeah.
great.
This is an actual science. And I don't know how you would find out this scientifically. I think it's just like psychological speculation. You know, they kind of know what they're doing.
Data research.
Just
numbers.
Yes.
There's a pattern happening.
And I will say this first one, which is sweets, which is this is the only thing I crave. I found this to be really eye-opening for me, even though I kind of already knew what was going on. But the sweets, it says you're exhausted.
Mm-hmm.
You're busy, you're running around, you're pushing yourself, and you're likely not getting any joy and like fun time in your life. So what you're doing is like your little time in front of the TV, like your little moment, you're like, that's like the best part of your day. And I feel like that so often sometimes when I am, you know, like we all have busy schedules, you're pushing yourself to work. It's like self-care is the easiest thing to cut out. And then you're thinking like, oh, well, now my ice cream is my self-care.
Yeah.
And it really isn't.
Yeah, but I like candy really does bring me joy.
Oh, it brings me joy.
Like when we were on the road at
our
Healy and St. Louis,
CVS stop.
I got candy every night whenever I'm on the road. And I know this is not great, but it's only because I'm kind of like lonely and bored that you're like, oh, candy's fun.
It's the perfect soothing treat for me. Like when I was in LA and I had like, I was so worn down from traveling and we were doing so much stuff. And it was like, one night we just had a little movie night. We set out a spread with the little mini candies, the popcorn, a little wine spritzer, and it was so great. And it's something about having that feeling. Like I think I miss like a feeling of abundance in my life, spiritual poverty. That's why my recent tarot card reading said. And you having a spread, you're like,
I love a
so
spread.
many things.
Yes.
So many things. But I do try to take it to myself to be like, that's right. When I wasn't working all the time, you know, during the pandemic, for example, when my schedule was a lot slower, I didn't really crave like, oh my God, I need my oatmeal raisin cream pie tonight, you know? So salty, and I do crave salty sometimes, but mostly
That's
like
mine.
chips.
I like Cheez-Its, and I got like a bag of just Lay's potato chips.
Oh,
a few
Lay's. Now chips, for me, chips, is there anything better? I used to really love kettle chips, but I've kind of gone more towards corn chips now. I don't know what it is.
Maybe the sweetness.
Yeah,
You
it's
found
probably
the sugar
I love the corn. Back on the sweet.
It's funny when you realize your body sneakily found sugar.
Yes, I know. It's true.
You're like
a sandwich, right?
There's sugar in here.
I think there
How
might
did you
be.
know that?
Yeah.
And I didn't.
Sweet potatoes.
Yeah.
That's all I'm eating.
Oh my God, I love sweet potatoes.
Love it. Well, salty says now this I found kind of interesting and kind of abstract, but it said that salt literally redistributes the flow of water in your body because salt will attract the water to it. So it said if you're craving salt, sometimes you may be having a hard time going with the flow in your life and you need to flow more.
That makes sense. I thought maybe I was dehydrated.
Oh, well, maybe.
I don't drink any water.
I know I am definitely that. Now, spicy, which I do like a little spice, but nothing more than medium. I'm not a spicy person, but spicy is you're craving stimulation and intensity in your life. And I feel like that tracks.
Yes.
Because, you know, you see people like eating that really spicy, like, you know, the like 911 ramen or something.
Yes, and I like the new chip that's been coming out. It was through TikTok, Takis.
Oh, I haven't seen this.
They're so good. They're like lime spice corn things.
Oh, wait. It's in a purple bag.
Yes.
Yes. I know this.
It's insanely spicy.
Ooh.
But it's so good, and it's got like a hint of lime in there as well.
Yeah, that kind of does bring you like a feeling of like party.
Yes.
You know, like
Well, I can always get a Taki. You guys are boring the shit out of me.
Yeah. Sorry. Bye. Now, chewy/texture. This one is interesting too. It said if you're craving like texture, the stimulation of chewing something in your mind, you're literally kind of working through problems in your mind that you're not able to work through in your life, like as though you're actually like chewing on something. So I thought that was interesting because I don't crave texture, but if I am eating something textured, I do tend to like just overeat it just because I love like the crunch of it.
Oh, I'm like that with pasta. I love the texture of pasta.
Oh, well, that
it's
one
like hits my soul.
I do love al dente.
Yes.
Ugh.
Oh, yes.
Well, it said
A chewy, crunchy together.
chewy and crunchy.
Like,
oh,
I like a quesadilla when it's like fried, so it's like chewy cheese and then the outside's a flaky crust.
I love a quesadilla.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Well, it says that breads and like starchy, that's one where you're really feeling like you need comfort. Comfort and love, and like bread and starch. I mean, that's why I guess like so many pastas are like comfort food, you know, because it just envelops you. You feel like, oh, I'm taken care of.
Yes. Everything's good.
Now, I read a few of these, and some of these I found to be hilarious. I mean, like caffeine, obviously, that one's like you're exhausted, you need some rest. Cheese, in a lot of them, it said that you're craving the love of your mother.
That makes sense.
Does it?
My mom likes cheese, and I like cheese.
So British. Me and mom having cheese. My mom's lactose intolerant. Yeah, so for me, it does not seem like that.
Okay.
It feels like the opposite. Like my mom is not safe. My mom she cannot have this, and she's going to be gassy. Now, oh yeah, so like caffeine, this one's obvious, which this is one I struggle with too, and I am trying to do a caffeine detox. This may be an upcoming lady journey.
My caffeine, I always think it's more psychological. I'm just used to that treat every day.
Well, this one is saying you're exhausted if you're doing caffeine. It means, I mean, I guess I would say like over caffeinating is more of a symptom of it. But it said like if you're, you have like your morning cup, right? If you're keeping going back, what you really need to do, rest yourself.
Okay.
Rest yourself. And then I thought it was kind of really hilarious too to me. Like a couple of these like were like alcohol, and it's like, well, is that really emotional eating?
That's just like an addiction.
That's an addiction.
I
And
guess food can be too.
food can certainly be an addiction, but I guess like when you're I feel like sometimes when you're craving, I guess if you're craving alcohol, you're like, oh, I need a drink. Maybe it's an internal sign that you are having a hard time coping with stress or something. That
Yeah,
makes
you
sense.
want to relax.
Like change your state, because
Yes.
I do feel like that sometimes where I'm like, oh, I need a drink.
Well, I do know after, like, say, take a bad set, and in the past it would have been like having a beer and a shot immediately after would have made me feel like everything's fine.
Yeah, that's a great feeling.
Oh, what was I worried about? I miss that feeling, but oddly, I can kind of get there with eating food.
That's great.
So it is obviously like a coping. Food is a coping mechanism.
Coping with stress.
Yes.
And it's like really interesting too, because I was just kind of researching this as I do with everything that I think. I just type it into Google. That's why I'm like, I can't wait until they just track our minds, just track my thoughts, because it'll save me the trouble of outsourcing it to the computer. Just Google everything I think anyway. But I was just reading a lot about emotional eating, seeking to understand it in myself, because, I do really love to eat like sweets every night to a point that I don't feel good, and it's interesting. Like they offer these, oh, you know what you should do? It's like meditate. It's like, really?
I know.
Go for a walk.
You're almost like the people that are like, instead of cake, I pour vinegar over my ice chips.
Yeah. No, thank you.
Yeah.
No,
weirdo.
thank you. Because it's like what you're really seeking. And I think it is okay. I mean, at some point, you don't want to be like falling on it as a crutch or having it become a problem, but like you do need to just like take a little stress off your life. It's like no one can. You look at these people that are like these celebrities and they're so thin and they have perfect bodies, and you're like, I wonder how stressful their life is actually.
I actually think they've got to. I'm just going to project here, but they have to be miserable, because anytime that you're calorie counting to that extreme to look a certain way, it's miserable. Like, how sad to deny yourself food when you go on a trip.
Yeah. Although I do think like the people that are really thin, well, the people that are like model thin.
Yeah.
It's like that's definitely a life of like deprivation, and it's unnecessary too. It's like you're just depriving yourself to conform to these standards that are rapidly shifting now too, which is great.
Yeah, I try to look for people with body types that I find very normal to be like, oh, I like how she looks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Rather than trying to be like, I want those abs on that model. And you're like, well, she doesn't get to eat pasta.
Yeah.
So I'd rather
like some pasta. Oh, I know. There's that viral TikTok sound that's like, so I've never had pasta. I just like think it makes people fat. And it's like, well, it does, and that's okay.
Yeah. That's fine.
But I do think like some people who have like really good body, of course, like it's a little bit genetics, of course, but like some people, you see them and they have a perfect body, they look amazing, and you're like, oh, this person has no stress in any area of their life. Like it's like what I did in a day, how much water I drank in a day. And it was like, well, first I got up and then I made my matcha and then I took a walk on the beach. And it's like, yeah, well, I bet you have a great body, because it sounds like your main priority is just drinking water.
I know.
And it's okay. I applaud you.
Yes.
You look flawless.
Amazing. But some of us actually have to do some stuff.
And you want to be able to take the edge off. And I don't think that food is that bad of a coping mechanism. But my quest for myself is that instead of me like feeling really stressed out and like going straight for like the Krispy Kreme, which I love, and I save it that really more for like a special occasion, and I make it more of like a practice to myself to seek out comfort food that is like healing and also healthy, like the healthier choice option. So I'm still like soothing myself, because I notice a lot of times I will emotionally eat too. Like if I make dinner, like I was talking with like my stew, you know, a couple episodes ago. I made a stew, didn't turn out that good. And then it was like the entire night I was just emotionally upset because I was like, I didn't have a satisfying dinner. And now I feel like I'm so like deprived. I just ate food like I'm in some kind of workhouse in Siberia, Russia. I like to take it to the extreme, but so that's what I want to really focus on myself more, especially as we enter like hygge time and baking season, is like creating these incredible, comforting, healthier meals for myself. And even if I do want to have like a snacking time in front of the TV, and I hate that thing that's like, don't ever eat out of the bag. It's like, let me.
Yes.
I want to. That's the only time I feel like I can just do whatever I want. And the more you push down that part of you, the more it comes out in other ways.
Yeah,
like
you have
the
to accept
rebellious. Yeah. It's like you keep, especially like women too, women identifying people, you keep yourself in such a small box to be like, am I pretty enough? Is my lipstick on my teeth? No.
Yeah.
Now you're in front of a firing squad. You know, that I just think that we should be able to snack and embrace it in a way. So I'm like really veering myself more towards my special comfort meals.
Yes. And you know what I'm looking forward to that I've been on Pinterest about lately is like, I'm so looking forward to like slow cooker meals.
Ugh, yes.
And those are comfort foods for me.
So
but like
comfort foods.
those are meals, and I feel like that's a meal those are great.
I make a chicken soup. It's just like the mirepoix po. How do you say that?
I have no idea.
I've never
With
known how to say it.
the
Carrots,
onion,
onions,
and celery.
That you saute it, you put in the chicken stock, you cook it. I have been putting the Trader Joe's hot pepper bomba sauce, which is a fermented Calabrian chili oil. You put that in, put some lemon, and you eat that with like a nice side of like fresh sourdough bread. And then, you know what? Maybe you have a few little chocolates at the end. It's like, that is such a satisfying meal to me.
Yes.
That I'm not going to be like spending the night like, I need a bag of pretzels now.
Go get Cheez-Its. Well, sometimes you just do that comfort food because it's easier to reach for like a bag of cereal and milk than it is to go make. Because like with a slow cooker, you do have to dedicate 8 hours. But I find like I love chili, and you can get chili kits.
Oh, I love that. Yeah,
so
chili
all
kit.
you have to do is ground beef or ground turkey beef or whatever, and then you just throw that in there. But we were talking about like comfort foods that aren't like the ice chips with rice wine vinegar or whatever. But like what you turn to as like a healthy comfort food,
like a
that's
little
actually
naughty
comfort food.
Yes, a healthy comfort food that's actually a comfort food. Like, okay, one of mine is, and I took this from your page because you love to do apple crumbles.
Oh my God, I love them. It's got fruit.
It has fruit. So what I'll do is like just cut the sugar in half, or just use
I
like
don't use as much sugar as the recipe
little
calls for.
like a little maple syrup, cinnamon. You have the butter, or if you want to use like coconut oil or whatever, you just need like a little fat in there. And then I do it, and I have a big portion of it because you know it's once you're just sticking to like the oats, the little flour. Use whole wheat flour. Use coconut flour. Little light sugar. Don't sweeten it. When you want something sweet, you don't need to go to the extreme, I find.
Yes. I had yesterday, I've been doing every Sunday, there's this new coffee shop down the street called Little Flower Cafe. It's so good. I don't know what their background is, but it's not American pastries.
Okay.
So I got a Danish, and it just said seasonal, and I was like, well, let's see what it is. I didn't even bother because I knew I would like whatever. It was apple, mint, and feta cheese.
Ooh.
And the mint and the apple and all the feta cheese, you're like, oh, it wasn't super sugary, but because it all had good flavor that complemented each other, you were like, this is actually a really good Danish without all the sugar.
I love that.
Yes.
I love your lady journey with the new coffee spot in town.
You're
a regular.
I am, and I get a punch card, but I've decided to start doing rituals.
Oh.
So meaning like Sunday is after, I did the cellar and I came home at 3:30 in the morning.
Yes.
I like to do my run, like the day of me me day, run, and then stop by the coffee shop, pick up a coffee, and then get
I
a
love
pastry.
that.
And they have like fancy pastries.
I think that's what I need to bring into my life more too, is like being intentional about like the self-care.
This is your
Instead of,
thing.
This is my thing. Yeah, like this is my thing. And then, because I end up, I'm always on a self-care journey, of course, of Googling symptoms or whatever. I'm like, I'm
Yeah.
doing my nighttime routine, like that evaporated, whatever. Like, you just get busy and things pile up and you're traveling, whatever. And then all of a sudden you're in this place of panic. And that's when you end up just like eating an entire box of those maple leaf cookies and you're not even really satisfied. You don't like it.
Yes.
And then you don't feel good.
So yeah, like I think actually like I had that one treat and it was enough for a nice little breakfast. Some people could need more and that's fine. Joe's would be the same. Like he would be like, I need to have an omelet.
Yeah.
After this. But like I just being like, this is my treat. And so I feel like when you do have like intense like that intention, it causes you not to overeat.
Yes.
As much.
And you also are showing yourself love. And
Yes.
It's all about self-love.
It was a hug.
Oh, self-hug. I also wanted to say about my apple crisp though, is going back to the apple crisp.
Yes.
So light ingredients, keep the ingredients light, heavy on the oats, throw in like some little almond slivers or something to get like a little healthier,
Some
like
different textures.
raisins, which we know my North Star. Raisins are my dristy, to use a yoga word, which I don't know the meaning of. No, I do. It's focus. But
Yes.
my apple crisp, I pile on top a huge scoop of Greek yogurt.
Yes.
And it is so good because it cuts the sweet. And then you have this incredible, delicious treat for yourself. And it feels so much it feels like you're eating a whole apple pie.
Yes.
And you're not.
Like using, this is weird because I feel like a lot of people don't use this here, evaporated milk on my apple crisps.
Oh, interesting.
Yes.
Yeah, I have made a pumpkin pie with evaporated milk, but yeah, I don't think a lot of Americans use it that much.
No, it's weird. It's got like, I don't know if I'm wrong with this. It feels like it has a light salt taste to it with sweetness.
I do not remember the taste of it that I would
I think it's quite,
think of that.
oh my God, it's so good. I like that and the condensed milk. I used to be able to, and I still can, I don't know why I say used to, just drink condensed milk straight out of the can.
Oh, I like how you tried to camouflage it. I never do that anymore, but I would just pop it open with a weird can opener like you're in the 50s and you're like, this is my beer.
Put it on a spoon and then suck it off.
Ooh, it's sexy.
So good.
Well, one of my other comfort foods that I have been doing, this is more of a summer comfort food, I will say, but like if I really want chocolate smoothie bowl, I do banana, Greek yogurt, peanut butter, cocoa powder, okay, and I just blend it up together with the frozen banana. And it is so good. I put like little coconut flakes on the side. I really dress it up for myself. When you're in the summertime, like a lot of times this happens to me almost every time I eat ice cream because I do feel like my body is older and I just don't really like milk anymore. Like I have it a little bit like in coffee or maybe a latte is like the furthest I'll go, but like I rarely have milk. You think you want ice cream and then you have it and you're like, oh, my mouth feels like something died in there.
Yes. And then all of a sudden I'm having like somebody's kicking the inside of my stomach.
Yes.
Yes.
And I need to go
take a shit.
now. I need to go now.
I know. I ate this one place in Austin. I don't know if it's all over, but it's called Amy's Ice Cream. And I feel like they use like the highest, purest form of cream to make their ice cream.
Gosh.
It's so good. But at the same time, after like 5 minutes of eating it, you're like, this has destroyed my insides.
Yeah, it's just too much. And then you realize like when you make something like that smoothie bowl, again, you do have to make it, but like you make that and you're like, oh, that satiated me.
Yeah.
That was actually exactly what I wanted. It was so good.
Yes.
Now, one of my favorite things to do, and I have talked about this on the show before, but I love to have like, also for me, and then one of the reasons I do love baking and I do love cooking is like taking the time to do something that is like not a brain task. You know, it's like we're all day like doing like social media, like getting
Thinking
the
of
podcast
stuff.
off the ground, like
Yeah.
wheeling and dealing. I'm like, hey, like, can I work for you? Can I, all this stuff. So I like to do like at night when it's cold outside, I have my baking ingredients stocked in the cupboard. I go through, I see what do I have. Like, okay, little
You
like
always have flour, you always have butter, and you always have sugar.
that's all you need. You get your little, and you can use like coconut oil or whatever. Like keeping butter on hand is annoying, but you just get like a vat of coconut oil and you can just use it like it's butter. It's so much easier.
Yeah.
But I love to make like my little banana bread or like my pumpkin bread. And sometimes I'll just like cut the sugar out, but you're getting that starchiness. Or I'll do like I was doing an almond coconut banana bread using like the really sweet bananas and putting in like little dark chocolate chips. So it's not too high in sugar, but it still feels like, oh, I'm getting to eat this nice fresh pastry that I made for myself.
Yes. I do like the mindless activity, and then you have a thing afterwards. And then I also find when you bake something for yourself when you were craving it in the first place because you've spent time slaving over it, for some reason, I'm like, I never want to eat that much after.
Yes, I know. I'm like,
It's
just
weird.
a little piece. I have to
I know.
save it.
Like, even when I cook a meal for myself, I'm like, I'm over it and I want to order takeout.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I used to be a bad cook, and I will say, like, this is a challenge if you are somebody that you find yourself like, I'm emotionally eating, I'm trying to like heal myself with food, but I can't do it unless I can order out. Because sometimes you're a bad cook, though. That's what I'm saying. Because I used to be a bad cook, and then I'd be like,
But I do basic things like, it's really, I learned this from my mom. Like, she would just take toast, butter it, and then we would put either baked beans on it, and I like that, or I put cream of corn on my English muffin that's buttered, and I'm like, that to me is my meal.
oh, yum.
Yeah,
Now,
and that's a 5-minute meal.
I do love a little piece of sourdough toast in the toaster. Like, that's my easy thing. Like sourdough toast, butter, honey.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that is such a treat for me. I hope people don't think I'm so lame. They're like, that's your treat.
I know.
But it's healthy, and sourdough, you know, is so good for you.
I also
love
like
that.
olive oil dips. Take some seasonings, take a garlic shredding thing, and just put it in your olive oil and dip your bread in there.
Yes. I did a dip. Oh my gosh, I was doing this incredible dip last year. I hope I didn't talk about this on the podcast.
I don't think you have.
Oh my God.
You
So
unearthed it.
I got really into this. I was doing olive oil, sauteing garlic and rosemary in it. Just really on a light heat, because when you use olive oil, you really have to keep the heat light because it just burns so quickly. And then I was pouring it over Greek yogurt and having a hot dip with like celery and carrots, and like little seed crackers. It was so satisfying.
Well, it makes you're like, I feel special instead of just eating straight out of a peanut butter jar.
Yeah, you're like, am I at a party in my own home right now? So decadent.
Yeah, and those
so
are like
easy.
really fast. Like, I think also when we were talking to Lindsay Adams, like getting popcorn and then finding that seasonal stuff at the grocery store. Like, I like finding one thing or one little item to zhuzh up a snack food or something basic like popcorn.
Yes. Or like something like, you know, making the box of macaroni. Like, that is such a little guilty pleasure for me that you like, you know what, if you cook it really pretty al dente, like, you're good.
It's pretty good. The other thing I like doing is like taking those cheap ramens, and my mom got me a whole bunch of crunchy chili oil, and I make it with peanut butter, soy sauce, and garlic. And I just spin it with the ramen noodles and cut up some spring onion. And it's like a quick, easy little quick comfort meal.
Soup is so comforting in the wintertime. I mean, I'm like obsessed with soup, and I'm obsessed with pastries and bread. And that's like,
all I want.
That's all I ever want. Now, and also my popcorn is my big one that I love to do in the wintertime, because it's like having a hot snack. Popcorn is actually, well, let's not get crazy. I'm like, it's actually a heart-healthy food.
No.
Like, popcorn's actually, it's vitamins. It's the same thing. Popcorn is good for you, although I will say I put a lot of oil into it. But when I'm doing comfort food, if I'm like really trying to avoid sugar, which I think for me, that's the one that has like no breaks, and it really makes me feel like so ill. And then I just want more of it. I'm like, I've had
like kettle corn for me is like that. I think I could eat 20 pounds of it and not.
You're always searching for the next crunchy one with the kettle corn. You're like, where's that crisp? You got like 7 bland ones and then 1 good one. You're like, I'm back in.
There it is.
It's like gambling for your mouth.
It is. I got that way with Kix, where I'm like, it will never be enough.
Yeah, you're just eating and eating and eating. Well, the popcorn, so I do like the little butter and the little oil. I use olive oil in the pan, and you make like a finite amount right? And then you always want more, but you're like, oh, am I going to go make another
No.
batch?
Yes, that's the kind of comfort food that you should do, is like slightly high maintenance.
Yes, a little bit high maintenance. So you're like, okay, I've had my snack.
But I'm not about to dirty up some more dishes in
No.
there.
And making popcorn at home, it is so much better.
It's cheap.
It is so cheap, and it tastes so much better than the crap you get at the store, the bag, even like whatever, like the healthy pop. Like, no, this is drenched in delicious oil, which is good for you. Okay. Even though it's getting hot, but whatever. You need fats to satiate yourself.
Exactly.
And it's so warm. Oh, I think I'm going to have it tonight.
Yeah. I've
popcorn
been
night.
inspired.
Well, everybody, comment below and let us know what is your favorite comfort food recipe that you're looking forward to making during the winter.
Yes. You know what I forgot that's actually, I've seen it a lot. It's not original. Is like apples with peanut butter on it.
That's I love it.
Yeah.
I have it every day.
It's really good.
Until you're eating like a cup of peanut butter. I'm like, why was I never hungry? I never had dinner.
I
It's so
always
good.
think I've beaten the system, and then I'm like, why am I gaining 10 pounds
Well, you know
at
what?
a rapid rate?
Yeah. Must be all this butterscotch. That was my diet food. I do a little apple peanut butter. Okay. This is how I hack it. I put like extra salt in.
I do. Yes.
Ah.
You
And then I
got
put
to salt the
cinnamon,
peanut butter.
Put
Yes.
cinnamon, sometimes a little ginger. Naughty.
Ooh.
Oh, so good.
Give us your treats.
Give us your treats.
want
We want to
treats.
know. We want to
Yes.
know. And by the way, please subscribe to us. Please give us a like. And please join our Patreon
Join
if
our
you're so
Patreon.
inclined. We plan to do lots more fun cooking stuff this winter.
for the
Fun
holidays.
recipes. We're creating a community on there, and we really want you to be a part of it.
Yeah.
Lady Journey.